New details have been released in the death of a 12-year-old girl in Enfield. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. Her stepfather, Anthony Federline, is being held on a $1 million bond on charges of sexual assault and child endangerment.
But Fox 61's Tim Latow reports more charges, could be coming. And we want to warn you the details in these newly unsealed documents may be difficult to hear.
Enfield police say they were investigating the home for hours, both Tuesday and Wednesday evenings. And while Federline is currently the only suspect, police say they are investigating others involved in the case.
We certainly will look at everyone who has involvement or could potentially have involvement in the case.
It's a case Enfield Police Chief Alaric Fox says is very active and far from over. 12-year-old Eve Rogers was found dead in her bedroom on March 18th. Now her stepfather, Anthony Federline, is in jail on a $1 million bond. He's been charged with sexual assault and risk of child endangerment. In a newly unsealed search warrant, investigators say there's enough evidence for a murder charge, but don't specify who that charge would be applied to.
The Detective Division personnel have a number of leads and a number of steps that they have to take, a number of further investigative avenues that we wish to explore before we'll be at a point where we can make some final decisions about the case.
Prosecutors say a DNA sample was taken from Federline, which he told investigators was like putting salt in the wound. Federline's DNA matched swabs taken from his stepdaughter, and he was arrested last week. According to police documents, investigators found Rogers naked from the waist down and discovered unusual circumstances with her body, and blood and fluids were running from her nose. The arrest warrant states 2 different pills were found on the floor of her bedroom, and another on her desk was labeled aspirin. A plate of pills and empty pill bottles were also found nearby. Fox says the investigation is looking at a variety of factors through comprehensive warrants. The first search warrant shows evidence has ranged from clothes to electronics to bodily material.
The scope has to be broad because the investigative information has to be broad. So the search warrant is written in a way that's legally compliant, but it's certainly written in a way that is broad enough to allow us to seize evidence that could be relevant to determine what it is that occurred.
Fox says every case is investigated to the same standard, but he says this one, which investigators believe involves graphic crimes against a child, has resonated with officials in a way few others have.
There are certainly a strata of cases that do define themselves, perhaps to a higher degree, because of the nature of a victim, because of the age of a victim, because of the circumstances of a case.
And again, more searches of the home have occurred after Federline's arrest. Those search warrants remain sealed. Federline is due back in court on May 5th. In Enfield, Tim Latow, Fox 61.
We have a breaking news update out of Ansonia. Police now say a search warrant was executed on Garden Street today as part of a narcotics investigation out of Watertown. Detectives, along with state police and federal officials, seized a significant amount of drugs and related items from a home. 30-year-old Joseph Krigo was arrested and is facing multiple charges, including operating a drug factory and selling narcotics. He's being held on a $750,000 bond and is expected in court tomorrow. Police say there's no threat to the public.
A New Haven man has been found guilty in a deadly shooting outside a West Haven restaurant. A jury convicted 34-year-old Eric Johnson of first-degree manslaughter, along with criminal possession of a firearm. Police say the shooting happened in February of 2024 after an argument at the restaurant. Investigators say the victim, 44-year-old Hector Dominguez, hit the defendant's vehicle with a hammer in the parking lot. And that's when prosecutors say Johnson shot Dominguez multiple times from inside his car before driving away. Dominguez later died from his injuries. Sentencing is scheduled for June 23rd.
A New Haven man has been found guilty in a deadly stabbing. 50-year-old Antoine Mike was convicted of first-degree manslaughter. The case stems from a June 2024 incident on Whaley Avenue where the victim, 47-year-old Travis James, was stabbed outside a business. Sentencing is scheduled for May 22nd.
Another beautiful sunny day and a string of sunny but chilly days, but we're about to see those numbers pop off and take off as we head through the coming days. We do have the chance for some patchy fog overnight tonight into first thing tomorrow morning, so check in with the morning show crew. They'll let you know if there's any trouble spots out there. And then we break for sun and warm up. 60s inland, 50s at the shoreline. And while we do have the chance for a few light scattered showers heading into late Friday night, the timing is kind of nice. It's around or after 10 p.m. and it's over as we head towards daybreak Saturday morning, leading to a nice dry weekend with great weather for outdoor plans. Temperatures right now are in the 30s to right around 40. It's not as cold tonight. We'll see overnight lows that will stay in the 30s instead of below freezing as it has been for the last several mornings. And then here's that warming trend. So mid-50s in Branford tomorrow, but we're looking at mid-60s in Middletown, 67 in Hartford, and 65 in Pomfret. Cool spot is Stonington. And then some big time warmth for next week. We'll talk about the chance for 80s in parts of the state coming up.
Rachel, thank you. A Hartford preschool teacher is accused of dragging a disruptive child into a hallway and leaving him there. Stacy Vaughn Marcella is charged in connection with the incident from last December. Police say the child was acting out in a classroom and was left in the hall for about 10 minutes. Investigators say the child threw items at the door before a paraeducator stepped in. The child was not hurt. Vaughn Marcella has been placed on administrative leave.
The former PTO president for a school in Vernon has been arrested for allegedly misusing funds. Police say the investigation began in November when officials at Maple Street School were notified of an outstanding balance from prior PTO book fairs. They say numerous transactions from Avery Fusick were believed to be for personal use. Fusick turned herself into police on Tuesday. She's charged with larceny.
A New Haven man is going to prison after being convicted of sexual assault and other charges. A judge sentenced 27-year-old Mark Lincoln to 20 years, suspended after 9 years served, followed by 10 years of probation. Prosecutors say a jury convicted Lincoln on multiple counts in January, including first-degree sexual assault, risk of injury to a minor, and unlawful restraint.
State Environmental Police have made an arrest in a sexual assault investigation at a state park. DEEP officials say 46-year-old John Bradley from Danielson is accused in connection with an incident at Mashamoquet Brook State Park in Pomfret. Investigators say the case involves a reported assault of a minor from last November. Police say Bradley was known to the victim. He's being held on a $150,000 bond.
And this is a bit of a relief tonight. The 13 people sent to the hospital after an explosion in East Providence have all been released now. The explosion happened around 8:15 last night at an industrial plant called Aspen Aerogels. Authorities are still working to find out what caused the explosion. Well, as spring cleanups get underway, more landscapers are feeling the impact of higher fuel costs, and that means customers may have to pay more.
Fox 61's Valerie Moravi asked local landscapers what they're doing to keep customers happy.
It's an extremely busy time for landscapers, and the owner of Tree Wise Guys tells me the fuel, materials, and equipment costs are creating challenges this season.
People were cooped up in the homes all winter long. Now they're coming outside and it's like, oh my goodness, this tree's got to go, these bushes got to get trimmed.
Chris Rakowski owns Tree Wise Guys in New Britain, and he's been providing his service to customers for 7 years. And with the season starting to pick up.
And of course, yes, we have bucket trucks, chip trucks and all that, but they all use fuel.
So is the cost of gas. And that, he says, will create a challenge.
If I did a quote for a customer last, month, 2 weeks ago, those prices were back then. Now that, their job came around and the prices have, diesel prices have shot up to over, $5.50, $5.75 a gallon. That's where the crunch comes in,
Rakowski says he uses diesel for the trucks and in all his landscaping equipment. According to AAA, the average price of diesel in Connecticut is up about 5 cents in the last week and by more than $1 in the last month.
It's not the amount of fuel, it's the price of the fuel. We went from $300 to $650 a day. You don't want to imagine the week. And I haven't passed on those expenses to customers yet. With
the soaring prices impacting materials and equipment cost, Rakowski says he wants to make sure he's fair to his customers.
I'm going to tell my customers, listen, I know I quoted your job, a month ago, or 2 weeks ago, but the prices are different now, you know. I got to charge you extra $100, $200 for your job.
He plans to wait another week or two on whether to make those adjustments, but he says something will have to change soon.
If it continues in the trend that it's going at right now and it goes up any higher than, say, $6, I'm gonna have to say to my customers, listen, this is the deal. You know, it's like service charge. Normally I haven't done that. Got to go somewhere, unfortunately.
Now he tells me they're just going to take one step at a time to do the best they can and try to make sure their customers are happy. In New Britain, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
Norwich Public Utilities has restarted its nearly $21 million project to replace natural gas mains through the city. Officials say the gas mains need to be replaced because they're aging and prone to leaks. Paving work is set to start Monday and will impact drivers. You can expect to see construction along Franklin Street and McKinley Avenue and Willow, Warren, and Spalding. Officials say this project could be completed in 5 years at the earliest.
And repairs were underway today on a water main in Manchester, temporarily shutting off water for some people. Officials say the shutdown started around 8:30 this morning near Route 44 and Arnott Road. The work impacted parts of Middle Turnpike and nearby streets. People were advised to store water ahead of time as crews worked to complete the repairs.
Federal grand jury in New Haven has indicted 36-year-old Jeslie Guzman from Pennsylvania on nearly 40 counts of tax fraud between 2019 and 2022 while operating a tax preparation business in New Britain. Prosecutors say she helped clients file false tax returns by inflating refunds, lowering tax bills, and creating fake income documents. She's also accused of producing fraudulent W-2 forms through a shell construction company and filing false returns for herself and her spouse. Authorities emphasize the indictment is an allegation, not evidence of guilt.